Is it time for a new heating and cooling system? Turn to the experts at Griffith Energy Services and Carrier today and get 0% financing for 18 months on a new heating and cooling system. Get the comfort you deserve from Griffith Energy Services and Carrier. Visit griffithenergyservices.com today for this and other exclusive offers. That's griffithenergyservices.com. License number MDHVACR 01-2278.
Griffith Energy Services. Doggone dependable.
Your AC works overtime all summer, so be sure to replace your old air filters with new Filtry air filters. They recommend updating HVAC filters at least every 3 months all year round. So order your Filtry air filters today at Filtry.com. Let's clear the air.
This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
I used to think time was my enemy. My future wasn't looking good. So worried about the things I couldn't see. I couldn't see the things I could. I was aging fearfully, worrying my life away, when all along I should have been thankful for every day. Finally made a friend of time. Now you could say that I'm aging gratefully. Aging gratefully.
Broadcasting from the rolling hills of the beautiful Tennessee Valley, from the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, across this amazing nation and spanning the universe, you're listening to Aging Gratefully. I'm your host, gerontologist Holly Kelly, bringing you exceptional guests and novel information to ensure you age great, live full, and embrace each extraordinary day for the incredible gift it is. Welcome everyone to the Aging Gratefully Show. We broadcast every Friday on the CTR network at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Welcome to Aging Gratefully, most amazing listeners around the world. I'm so happy you're joining the show today. How are you doing? I know you've been here, but I've missed you, and I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for listening to the show. You see, my schedule is very different than yours. I record shows often all at once. Like today, I'm recording several, and they will air in the future. And I obviously had to create these shows and book them sometime before they were recorded. We are often working ahead in life. This is how I work my summers and vacations, so I can have a lull and create time for the other things I need to do. Our family spent time at the beach, and I worked furiously recording a month and a half of shows to have that time. And then it caught up with me, and I had to live in chaos again, being so far behind, and shows right on top of me. But it's okay. That's why I missed you. I was away, but I'm so grateful because I knew all the while you were here listening each week, well, every day, every hour, really. And I so cherish that you are. We often find ourselves in two modes in life's journey. I find myself in work mode and then home family mode. You may do the same. We often grow older and find ourselves forgetting our childlike wonder. Something I often remind you to reconjure, to reimagine all of that childlike magic and bring it forth. You'd be surprised what joy will spring forward. No, we're not as young as we once were. Isn't that a song? But that's okay. We've grown immeasurably in other ways. It's really amazing how we've evolved. You know how when you've been somewhere super special, like the Grand Canyon or some really cool place, and there's these gift shops that they sell all these memorabilia items that prove you've been there, done that. That's us. We've been there, done that. We've got the virtual bumper sticker to prove it, the signature tacky glass or coffee cup that says, Yes, we've climbed Mount Never Rest. We've crossed the ocean blue. We've sailed the high seas. We've endured. We've prevailed. We've experienced things we didn't see coming, didn't ask for, learned this thing called resilience. Yep, we've ended up in that gift shop of life, and we have the tacky plate to prove it that says, we've been on that field trip of lifeness. And you know what? We even survived a pandemic. Who knew? You see, although we often unknowingly make things more difficult than they need to be, crossroads and decisions really come down to, as we learned very early on in this show by guest Rico Rakowski, just two choices, author of just that book. Life is often just two choices, but we really cloud it up with a whole lot of other narratives, making it way more confusing for us than it needs to be. I don't know if we're inadvertently stalling to make a decision or if we are unintentionally self-sabotaging ourselves by adding in a lot of extras. Think of most things in life, and I bet you can get the nitty-gritty down to two choices. To move or not to move, that's two choices. Now, there can be a million supporting reasons and pros and cons surrounding these two choices, but the choices are two. To get groceries or not, to do this or that, should I, shouldn't I, can I, can't I, will I, won't I. Why does this matter? Because life itself is about choices. We intersect with choices all day long, every single day. And a big choice is often one we aren't really aware of. And that is leaving fear in life's rearview mirror behind us. While I talked often about reigniting our childlike wonder and creative imagination, that's a wonderful trait to carry forth from our childhood. But something we don't want to do is bear the negative burdens of our childhood into adulthood. Those such as fear, guilt, disappointment, and feeling of disapproval. Those things hold us back in adulthood, or as today's amazing guest would call, lifetime two. In fact, as we're talking choices, think of childhood as lifetime one and adulthood as lifetime two. In fact, I wrote this short poem called Lifetime One and Lifetime Two. It's up to you. Lifetime one and lifetime two, it's really kind of up to you. The choice is yours. There are two doors. Lifetime one, choice is easy. Lifetime two is a bit more breezy. Lifetime one, we're starting out, figuring and learning what the world's about. So impressionable, this child we are, making wishes on each star. And letdowns happen along the way. That branch we hold tight can sometimes sway. Finding out where we belong on a journey that seems to take so long. Then lifetime two presents itself, embodying a life of wisdom wealth. The door is open with a standing invite for all that lifetime two incites. But we must leave the fear behind for lifetime two, where we can shine. Have you ever considered hitting the reset switch for lifetime two's special niche of living in love, peace like a dove? It's up to you. Lifetime one or lifetime two. I'm so excited to have this conversation and learn more about this intriguing concept. I know you are too. So let's bring on today's guest who introduced it. Joining us today is psychotherapist and author Patty Henry. Patty has been in private practice since 1988 and has some wisdom and information, including her new book, Two Lifetimes, Moving from Fear to Love. You can learn more about her by visiting her at www.patty-henry.com. So excited to welcome you to the show, Patty Henry. Welcome to the Aging Gratefully Show. Delighted you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I love your whole concept of learning how to age gratefully. Sounds So thank you for having me.
Oh, so kind. And we really appreciate that so much. And just so excited to dive into this conversation and your work. And when I saw it, we were just really wanting to reach out and share your work with and your story and book with the greater world. So just delighted really to learn more about it. And I love this book, Two Lifetimes, Moving from Fear to Love, because I really believe that life is definitely about stages. So I aligned with your book and the thought premise there, but also the second part of the title, the subtitle, Moving from Fear to Love, because fear is so paralyzing in our ability to age gratefully and live our best life now. You really hit it all, Patty.
Oh, thank you. You know, my books come to me and they keep bugging me until I write them. This one has been bugging me for a while. And in the meantime, I got cancer and I had over 100 tumors in my brain. And so once I went through a stem cell transplant and about a year of recovery, this book came back and said, okay, it's time to put everything you know down on paper. So that's what I did with Two Lifetimes.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So talk about a new opportunity to be in life, literally with a new lens. What is it like to have something like that happen to you and have life afterwards?
Well, I'll tell you a story. When my first child was born, the doctor put him on my stomach and he was in a tight little ball. And I watched as he slowly but surely unfolded his arms and his legs, and he stretched his fingers and his toes as big as he could. And I remember thinking, that's how I want to live life. Right there, arms wide open, taking in as much of life as I can. And you know, when you have 100 tumors in your brain, it makes it clear that life is short and can be taken away at any moment. So to remember to live arms wide open, taking it in as much as you can.
Absolutely. Was your frame of mind, were you the kind of person, Patty, that when you were dealt that news, did you feel like, okay, I have this? Were you in, I know you're a psychotherapist, so, I know that, you may have thought, I've got this, or were you in a place of positivity, or were you like really like, oh my goodness, this is the end? Where were you at with that? Were you like putting it to a higher court?
Mhm. I think that I'm a very optimistic person. And so I look at our journey here, our adventure called life, in a way that says, you know, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Who can I impact with this story? And so I gratefully embraced the whole journey. And there were scary parts, but I think scary is normal. Stem cell transplant, they kill all of your white blood cells, all of your red blood cells, and also all of your bone marrow. And so it's really a miracle that people live. But because I didn't have any immune system, I got E. coli in my bloodstream. And those were some nights where I thought I might not wake up tomorrow. I want to make sure and say, I love you to everybody that I need to want to, and to make sure and say thank you to higher order, divine, that I've had an incredible journey. So.
My goodness, your story is so moving, and you are just such an inspiration. And I just really feel that that inspires so many other people. It's amazing, this book that you've written, and I just love that you've shared that incredible story about your journey, and it's amazing what heart and soul and grit and almost miraculous, really, but the power of the human spirit that you are here with us today. So amazing. And we're so happy that you are. So, this book entitled Two Lifetimes, tell us about this book.
Okay. The only thing I know for sure in the world that is true, absolute truth, is that we have to make up a story to make sense out of things that don't have definitive answers. And there are things that don't have definitive answers, like why are we here? Why are we on this planet? Is there life on other planets? What happens when we die? Is there a God? Is there not a God? There are people that will say, oh, I know the answer to those questions, but they're really just telling you what they believe. And
Mhm.
so this book, Two Lifetimes, is about what I believe. I believe it tells the story of what we need to be doing while we're here on the planet at this point in time. So I believe every baby is born perfect and whole and a light in the world, fully connected to love, fully connected to all their emotions. And it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. They, if they're not happy, they let you know it. And if they are happy, they are so joyful. They let you know that too. So we all come to the planet that way. And then our world isn't such where we operate from the high energy vibration of love yet. And you might have noticed that in the last election campaign, that it wasn't coming from love. It was coming from fear, competition, um, you know, doing and saying whatever was necessary to try to win. And yeah, that's part of taking this pure, innocent baby and it gets thrown into lifetime one, where we're in this world that doesn't operate at that high level. Usually our parents don't operate at that high level, and the child is wounded. They get left out, they get made fun of, they get told that they're ugly, that they're they don't make the basketball team. They I had one client, which this is a true story, that didn't believe in spanking their children. And so, I was listening and thought, well, yeah, that makes sense. But instead, what they did was burn their children with cigarettes in order to discipline them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So this pure little innocent is wounded. Sometimes physically, sometimes emotionally, sometimes both. And then as we get older, I believe our work is to take what happened to us and transform it and use it somehow to be a healing force in the world. And so those people might be writing books about good parenting. They might be speaking on the Moth Radio Hour about what it was like to be raised with physical abuse and how they have recovered from that. So that's what I think our work is to transform the woundedness into something we can use and be part of the healing force. For example, my dad was an alcoholic. He was not a nice person. And when he died, my older brother called me and said, "What are we going to say in the obituary? That he was a mean son of a gun and hurt everybody?" And I said, "Yeah, I don't think we can put that in the newspaper." And he said, "Okay." So he wrote another obituary that was just beautiful. He said, "For those of us who knew him well, we were forced to pull out a better self than we would have had we not known him." So, which is true. We both have grown into people that want to be part of the healing of the world. And so it's transforming what happened. Sometimes a client will say to me, "Well, I came from an alcoholic home. You probably don't know anything about that." And I'm like, "Well, actually, I do. I can talk to you about that because my dad was an alcoholic." And suddenly we have a connection.
Yes, it's amazing, the healing, having done written funerals for people that have experienced the challenges of having to lay to rest somebody that they had so much turmoil with, and having to be part of that experience. And they just don't even know what to say, and they feel like burdened even to deal with that.
Right.
And there can actually be some form of healing,
Well, at my dad's funeral, he died a number of years ago, I spoke and said, "I know he hurt every single person that's here, and I am here to stand for him and say, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
That I wish that he could have been sober in his life, and he wasn't."
Mhm.
And so just saying the truth out loud. And I appreciate you're here to support us, myself and my brother. And I'm sorry that he wasn't kinder to you. And people cried. They
I'm
came up
sure.
and said,
Yes. Just hearing the words.
"Yeah, oh, I wish that I had not cut him off." I'm like, "No, you did the right thing to protect yourself and your family."
Mhm.
And just gave them permission for the process that they went through.
Mhm. And so let's explore the difference between lifetime one and lifetime two, as you put it.
Okay, great. That's a great question. Lifetime one is where the way I say it is we're run by our wounded child in lifetime one, or in lifetime two, we're run by our empowered, authentic adult self. Another way of saying it is lifetime one, we are very reactionary. And in lifetime two, we're capable of responding to whatever God, the universe hands you. The child self says, "I don't know what to do." And the adult self says, "I don't know what to do, but I'm really smart and I'm really capable. I can figure it out." And then takes action to figure it out. Another way of saying it is our lifetime one is living and being run by fear, and lifetime two is living in the vibration of love. I know personally, I see signs around people's necks and they say, "I'm starving for love." I believe our world is starving for love. So when we get to our adult self, we can actually give a little bit of love to whoever, the person at the gas station, the person at the grocery store, it doesn't matter. Just put in a little drop of love and it matters.
Love is so important. And when I say to you out there, our beautiful aging rebels, that life just gets better with age, has she not just shown us that this is so true? So anyway, just amazing. I want to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we will continue this conversation. Don't go anywhere, because this will continue. Today, we're so grateful to be with licensed professional counselor and author Patty Henry, talking all things moving from fear to love, and her book, 2 Lifetimes from Fear to Love. You can learn more about her by visiting www.patty-henry.com. I know, by the way, you out there love our show's theme song. For new listeners, that's Jim Belop's Aging Gratefully. You can find it on iTunes, Amazon Music, and his album Dreams I Left in Pockets. I invite you to get the entire album. And my favorite song is always going to be Aging Gratefully. And also visit Jim at fleamarketmusic.com. He has books, ukuleles, DVDs, so much more. He's world-renowned musician and just mad ukulele skills. Just love his music. Special thanks to you out there, our awesome aging rebels tuning in from around the world. So many other fantastic places that you're listening. France, Great Britain. I can't even mention them all. Australia. Let's see, Russia, the Bahamas. I look at those geostats and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I just can't even believe it. So just thank you so much. It is you, the amazing listener, and our awesome guests that have allowed this show to be awarded a top 15 show on aging on the entire planet. You should listen and subscribe to. Thank you, Feedblitz, and other platforms that have awarded us this. And thank you for your positive show reviews. We so appreciate them. Have I told you lately that you rock and role model? Well, you do. Thank you so much. We're grateful for each of you. I'm your host, gerontologist Holly Kelly, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Laura Staley. I'm founder of Cherish Your World and author of Live Inspired, Let Go Courageously, and Live with Love, Transform Your Life with Feng Shui, and the Cherish Your World gift book of 100 tips to enhance your home and your life. I loved being on Aging Gratefully, the show with Holly. I'm moved to tears right now by the richness, the joy, the passion at which we engaged a conversation about all the ways that we can live aligned with love in our hearts, and even when there's grief, but aligned with the goodness and the joy, and take that next breath to embrace the very goodness and this preciousness of being alive. I loved the questions. I loved the interaction. Holly was a gracious and welcoming host. I love the message. It just rocked it out. What can I say? Thank you. Thank you for the joy of this show. Thank you for what you bring, the energy that you bring to the world. And as a feng shui person, energy or qi means the world. Good energy, positive energy. So thank you so very much.
Introducing Peacock, the new free streaming service from NBC Universal. It's hit movies, current shows, live sports, trending bits, and timeless hits. And that's why you can't not watch. Peacock. Watch for free, upgrade for more. Stream now at peacocktv.com. Law & Order SVU streaming now.
The Ladder Life Planning Institute is the ultimate guidance for life's inevitable destiny and your path to passionate aging and inspirational advanced care planning. LLPI offers tools that educate, inspire, and enlighten. Live vibrantly, plan thoughtfully, age dynamically. Visit LLPI for business and individual consulting services. Professional and keynote speaking, books, workshops, education, webinars, and resources. LLPI is here to transform your ladder life living today. Visit them at ladderlifeplanninginstitute.com. Live extraordinary, age dynamically. Visit ladderlifeplanninginstitute.com.
Okay, so there's something I need to say. The deals at Kohl's right now, so good. We're talking savings on the best summer stuff. I got kids' tops for under $15, $24.99 shorts I'll wear on repeat, and sandals for my husband for under $20. Did I mention the extra 20% off and getting Kohl's Cash? It was ready for pickup in less than an hour, too. Ah, summer and savings. My two favorite things. Select styles 20% offer ends July 11th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
My name is Gregory Landsman. I'm an author and TV host who shows people how to take years off their faces naturally and to feel good in their skin. I've just had a wonderful conversation with Holly Kelly on her program, Aging Gratefully. An incredible show that is role modeling how we can age gracefully and gratefully. What I enjoyed about being on her show was the authenticity of Holly's approach and her genuine commitment to bringing her audience the best information out there. I truly believe that every person has a purpose, a way that we can contribute to the world. Clearly, Holly's show is her living purpose, and as a result, Aging Gratefully is a wonderful podcast.
Thank you so much, best listeners in the world. Welcome back to Aging Gratefully. I'm your host, gerontologist Holly Kelly, here today with our guest, Patty Henry, who promotes self-growth, leaving fear behind, and getting in the full light of living. I know every single one of you, my awesome aging rebels, are all about that. So happy to have her with us today. And before we continue and resume our conversation, I want to remind you that we have so many ways for you to listen. Did you know that we're now on Audible and Amazon Audible, Amazon Music? We certainly are on all of your various platforms: Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, your Android and Apple devices, Samsung and Fire Smart TVs, iHeartRadio, just really anywhere you want us. We're on the go. Where you want us, how you want us. Thank you so much. Please leave us, if you like this show or any of our shows, please share them with your friends and family. We really appreciate your show reviews. Thank you so much. We love recognizing our listeners and are giving our listener appreciation shout outs. This one from our Twitter community and from Adam. And he wrote, "Holly, your metaphors are a saint carrying the devil's cut horns in her purse. Love it. You are a living aging gratefully. You are living aging gratefully. Love these every Saturday AM. This was a great share. Very informative. Stay extraordinary." Oh my goodness. Well, when I read that, I'm thinking, no, you're extraordinary. And he is. He truly is. So I just want to say thank you so much for that, Adam. And I'm going to offer up the promo code "You're Extraordinary," because you know what? I appreciate him so much. And so use that promo code "You're Extraordinary." Whoever out there wants to visit hollykelly.com, use the promo code "You're Extraordinary" for checkout on one of my books in the continental US for $10 off my book. It's getting it half off through 10/21. So anyway, and that's in honor of you. Thank you, because we appreciate our listeners. So I just want to say, you know what else we appreciate today? Today's guest. I want you to visit her at www.patty-henry.com, where you can learn more about her life-enhancing work in so many areas, including her work in writing to promote kindness. She helps people grow and heal. Her motivational speaking makes audiences laugh, sing. Isn't that cool? And think. She's authored several books, and her work is founded on passion and purpose, but you can totally tell that. So I'm just really enjoying this show today, as I know you are too. So as far as, I'm learning that, and I have learned on this show that some people carry the challenges of childhood that paralyze them all the way into, I've had people do this and not make peace into their 80s. Patty?
Yes, I have too. I had one client that was 80, and he said, "Oh my gosh, I've been a child my whole life. That child has directed my life." He was in his fourth marriage with his fourth controlling wife. And I said, "Where is that in your childhood?" And he said, "Oh, that was my dad. He was just so controlling." And I said, "Well, you're repeating it." And so we have to become aware of what we're carrying around with us so that we can make different choices. I heard you say, Holly, that there are only just two choices. And I think in terms of in lifetime one, we're unaware of our choices. They're just automatic reactions. In lifetime two, we make conscious choices. We slow it down. We look at our options. We pick one of them and commit to doing that. And if we, get into it and it's not working out, then we stop doing that, go back to our choices and make a conscious choice of what we think would be helpful.
That's very deliberate and so empowering, Patty.
Yeah. It's very deliberate. I mean, I think that simply put, I believe our mission on the planet is to grow up, to become emotional adults, not reacting, but able to slow it down and think and make a choice which will serve us and be kind to the other person.
When you were speaking early on about that, we have a lot of questions, I'm paraphrasing, but we really don't know the answers. The things that you were kind of using as examples reminded me of many of the things that people say when they return, that they claim, when they return from a near-death experience. And they say, this is what they learned. That they say that they were, asked, what was your purpose? What did you learn? Why are you here? And it's very interesting because I'm feeling like your work is very parallel to the why are we here? What are we meant to do? What is your purpose? And it's all centered around being a very loving, kind, compassionate human being to fulfill the greater need of humanity and being human and being just good.
Let me tell you another story. I have two children and they're both adults now. One is 26 and the other one's 32. And the 26-year-old definitely has asked me over and over again about life wisdom. And when he was 18, he was lying on the couch and I sat down, I put my hand on his knee and he pulled a pillow over his head. And I said, hey, what's going on? He said, well, kind of depressed. I said, well, do you want to talk about it? And he said, yeah. And he sat up and he said, when I turned 18, he had just turned 18. It was his senior year in high school. He said, I thought I was going to be in lifetime two, that I would be an adult and I would get rid of all the baggage you gave me. And I would get rid of all the baggage Dad gave me. And I said, well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, honey, but those are your issues that you're going to have to transform in order to become your authentic, empowered adult self. And so I said, all I can tell you is my not being in my adult self when you were born is not about you. It's about the universal wound. My parents got it from their parents and their parents gave it to me. And he said, yeah, you gave it to me. And I said, I'm sorry, you're right. I gave it to you. And the universal wound that we all get is I'm not good enough. Some people get a little bit of it. Some people get a lot of it. And that's part of what we have to, I call it slaying the dragon, that we meet on the pathway from lifetime one to lifetime two. The dragon shows up and says, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough, pretty enough, rich enough, whatever enough. And we have to quiet that down, put it to sleep, slay the dragon, however you want to say it, so that you can get over to lifetime two where you're in charge of your life. You're in charge of all of it, what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're feeling, that you have ownership of all of that. And we only get there by letting go of fear running us.
And I think that fear, I think that love helps you hurdle or maybe evaporate some of that dragon, right? Self-love, maybe set some deep roots so that the dragon doesn't have any power over you.
Right. I do think, though, everyone has to go through that. They have to get on the other side of the dragon and really hold on to their true self. So a lot of it to me is about honesty, getting more honest with yourself, because I'm not good enough is really not true. Every single person on the planet is good enough to be an imperfect human being.
Perfectly imperfect. Just like you said, we all came into the world so divinely incredible. And, I call it, Patty, the lies we tell ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the lies is I'm not good enough. And it's like, that is not true. You are good enough to be a bungling, try as hard as you can, mess it up human being, just like the rest of us. That we learn by making mistakes. I always say, you don't become an old, wise person without having been a young, dumb person. And that's how we grow.
I so love that so much. Okay, so these shows just like go too quickly, and we could have 2 hours with you. Your wisdom radiates. So I want to ask a couple of things before I find us at the end of the trail here. 2 lifetimes. What do you want readers to get from it?
Well, I think of that book as a blueprint for healing. And I think of it as I walk with them through the process of getting rid of fear. I know sometimes I'll have a client that says to me, oh, sure, I'm going to be able to get rid of fear. Right. And I say, yeah, right. That's the goal. Thich Nhat Hanh taught us that one of my favorite quotes of his is, once you have mastered no fear, then you are free. And that's the work, to master no fear and be free, to be your authentic, wonderful, magnificent self.
Awesome. What is a ghost driver?
Ghost drivers are, they're our wounded child that want to run the show, want to say, you're not good enough, you can't do this, you can't do that, that's ridiculous. Those are ghost drivers that are showing up, pumping in the fear.
Okay. We want to kick them out of the car.
We want to kick them out of the car and say, I don't believe that anymore. Please get out. And they don't want to give up the driver's seat. They want to run the show. And we have to really walk toward fearful things and do them anyway.
And what is 2 lifetimes in a marriage?
Yeah, 2 lifetimes also happens in a marriage. First lifetime, our children are arguing with each other. Our little child selves are saying, you said this to me, you did this, and you didn't do this. And, we're acting like children. In our authentic adult self, we're able to talk about any topic. There's no off the table-itis. So we're allowed to talk about any topic. And the other person shows up in a non-reactionary way, willing to have a conversation. One of my clients just got back from a long driving trip with her husband, and she said, it was the best time we've ever had because we both showed up as an adult. I said, that's great. she said, yeah, we were adulting all week long and just able to be present for who you are.
We put on our big person pants and we showed up.
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
So, and I think that's our mission on the planet is to
Mhm.
put on a big person
I,
pants, show up.
I say all the time, if we could all move ourselves out of our own way,
Mhm.
then maybe great things would happen all the way around.
Well, I think there'll be a tipping point in the world. We are in this awakening. This is such an exciting time to be alive. And I see that awakening all around me. And I believe that there'll come a point where more people will be awake than asleep. And then we can get to world peace, where if every single person showed up as their authentic, amazing adult self and with kindness and compassion to the other people. I have a whole chapter on forgiveness, trying to forgive the people that hurt us, and because I think it's important to let go of that baggage that we carry around and let it run our lives.
Including self-forgiveness. People need to remember that too.
Yes, including self-forgiveness to really, my prayer has always been when my kids come and tell me what I did wrong as a parent, I have enough of a self to be able to say, you're right, I did that, and I'm sorry. To really own it and, be regretful, saying, I'm sorry that I did that. I didn't know better. Maya Angelou says, when we know better, we do better. And I think that is the truth, that the more we get awake, the more we're able to see how to respond and not react, how to be a healing force in the world instead of disruptive.
So what would you like to leave listeners with?
I would like them to get a copy of my book, and it's worth about 10 therapy sessions, and to really come to know how magnificent they are, and to really claim that of being divinely made, being safe, being here on the planet on purpose, and really falling in love with themselves.
Wonderful. Okay. And they can get that, of course, at your website, www.patty-henry.com, on Amazon, probably your favorite bookseller, and where else?
Well, definitely Amazon is
it's the easiest for everybody. I know.
For everybody. You go there, and they have changed their policy. If you don't buy the book on Amazon, you're not allowed to review it. And I think you're kidding. So when I do conferences, some people buy books, they can't review it. Or if I give one away, they can't review it. So if you don't mind buying it on Amazon, that would be great. And then you can write a review.
Yes, and that's 2 lifetimes moving from fear to love. So our hour has gone too quickly, but of course we don't want the show to end without knowing how you age gratefully.
Yeah. Well, I live life arms wide open. I zip line. I do things that are scary. One of the best moments of my life, I was in Nepal up in the Himalayas, and I decided to paraglide with a pilot behind me, strapped to me. But he said, when they're going to lift up the parachute, and when it fills with air, run as fast as you can to the cliff and jump.
Oh my goodness.
And that's what I did. It was a thrill to fly.
I get butterflies just thinking about it.
Yeah, to fly with the eagles and to have this person care for me behind me. And it was just an amazing experience to push through the fear and do it anyway.
Well, you are aging gratefully. You are an inspiration. Thank you so much for being our guest. The many gifts that you bring to the world, just really appreciate. 100 tumors in your brain, and just to have survived that and to have kept your faith through it. We're so happy that you're here to continue to inspire and to just really help so many people be in life. It's just amazing. So thank you so much for the gems you bring to the world.
And thank you for the gems you bring. Your show and just the concept of being able to live gratefully with humility and great, GREAT, fully, and enjoy your journey here. So thank you for the work you're doing to heal the world.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You've been listening to Aging Gratefully, and I'm your host, gerontologist Holly Kelly. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoy our message, I invite you to subscribe and share it with others. May you remember to never act your age, and that age is just a number. And may you enjoy and embrace the coming week in the spirit of gratitude. Until we meet again, here's to living your best life now.
I used to think time was my enemy. My future wasn't looking good. So worried about the things I couldn't see. I couldn't see the things I could. I was aging fearfully, worrying my life away, when all along I should have been thankful for every day. Finally made a friend of time. Now you could say that I'm aging gratefully. Aging gratefully.
Okay, so there's something I need to say. The deals at Kohl's right now, so good. We're talking savings on the best summer stuff. I got kids' tops for under $15, $24.99 shorts I'll wear on repeat, and sandals for my husband for under $20. Did I mention the extra 20% off and getting Kohl's Cash? It was ready for pickup in less than an hour, too. Summer and savings, my two favorite things. Select styles 20% offer ends July 11th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Your AC works overtime all summer, so be sure to replace your old air filters with new Filtry air filters. They recommend updating HVAC filters at least every 3 months all year round. So order your Filtry air filters today at Filtry.com. Let's clear the air.